Good morning, my friends. Today will be my last video ever from this setting, so blessing it and blessing the chance for all that I got to share with you guys from this place. Today I'm traveling back to the US from Mexico, through Mexico, from Guatemala through Mexico. So blessings to you all on this day, and the next time I talk to you will likely be from the good old US of A. Oh, by the way, this is Virginia Schmidt from Divinity School, for those of you who don't know me. So I want to talk about a couple of things this morning that are just really exciting me. And one, as I'm traveling, and this morning before traveling, just listening to the Way of Mastery, Book 2, The Way of Transformation, and just coming back to a thought that I know is going to be really helpful for me as my body seems to travel through space and time. I just did it. So I just did it. I just called it my body. And the reminder is to come back to calling it the body, to try not to use the word my, and to realize that it's just one of the things in my awareness of being, or just in awareness of being. So that just takes so much of the pressure off, and I hope that'll be helpful for you guys to come back to today as well. Like, it's the body. It's a tool. It's a communication device, but it's a beautiful tool that I take care of, much like a painter with a paintbrush or a carpenter with a hammer or a saw. And so this body shall be traveling a great distance, and may thy will be done as that occurs. And again, I hope that this conception is helpful for you guys in taking some pressure off and some falsehood, right? Some illusion off considering this body as who you are, and rather just seeing it as the body that your soul, your awareness of being has chosen as your tool of communication for this beautiful journey this time around on Earth School, which we're coming to more and more consciously as Divinity School. So the other just beautiful activation that I've used so many times now. So thank you so much to the friend in this community who suggested Matt Kahn to me. I know maybe a lot of you guys will be surprised that I didn't know who Matt Kahn was until a couple days ago. That's the beauty of being part of this community together, you guys. We share so much with each other, and we're always open to exactly what we need as our soul is bringing into awareness the next clue to growth and remembrance. So thank you so much to the person who suggested Matt Kahn. He is like, he's soul sustenance, he's soul food. Thank you. I watched one of his videos yesterday, which I'll link to in the about section below or in the comments below. It's called On the Difference Between Twin Flames and Soulmates, and that's kind of like a whole thing that he goes into. But the part I wanted to share that resonated with me the most is accepting everything with love. And right, this is the path, this is obvious, but very specifically in the way of when I am imagining something that might bring guilt or shame or judgment, and just saying, I love you too. And I've done it so many times since watching that video, and it's so beautiful. Like, there was a way that I acted yesterday, for instance, and yesterday was a tough day. Like, I've been living here for 4.5 months and have become so close to my host family, and this has been my home. This has been my nest. This is the place where Divinity School was birthed. This is been a beautiful, safe haven of awakening for me, and I've developed so many beautiful relationships. And yesterday I was feeling, it was a lot. There was a lot of heart movement going on and feeling some resistance. And last night I broke through that through meditation and just coming back to truth and love. And I was thinking about how I had been earlier to one of the family members who had come by. It's not that I had been rude or anything, it's just that I wasn't, that's probably the last time that I'll see her for quite a while, and I wasn't as open and present and communicating pure, sheer love and presence as my more conscious, centered self, present self desires to, my soul desires for me to. But instead of like thinking about that and getting guilty and being like, you know, going into that downward spiral of fear and illusion and separation, what really helped me was just saying, I love you too, Virginia. Like, I love you too. I love you too, even the slightly frazzled, getting caught up in the illusion, Virginia. And just any time that there is something in our, you know, this is very similar to Ho'oponopono ono, right? Thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. But right now, that from Kahn is just like, I'm so loving it. Like, you know, when we seem to be coming up short, or when anyone seems to be coming up short, just anything that's going on in our awareness that maybe we would be, especially on the spiritual journey, right? Where we're like, oh, I should be beyond that. And the ego shouldn't be like, why is the ego coming back in? And instead, just like loving it and accepting it, just saying, you know, getting anxious or just that moment of whatever, and just saying, you know what, I love you too, anxious Virginia. Thanks. I love you too. Oh, Virginia's judging in that moment. That ego, Virginia. You know what? I love you too, egoic, judging Virginia. And as Kahn says, in that moment of loving and accepting it truly, it's like, oh, that soul contract is done because you accepted it. And we've talked about all this and we'll continue to together. Anyway, I'd love to hear, as always, you guys' thoughts on this. And please, you guys, this is such a beautiful community of sharing. Thank you so much for your energy being here. Like, we're all creating this together. You are so worthy of love, and I love you too, even when you're not perfect, even when there are those temptations for disappointment or judgment or guilt or fear. I love you too. I love you too. So I love you guys very much. I'm so held in our beautiful space that we have here together, and I will talk to you guys very soon. I love you too. Mwah.